I call the member for Balmain.
Thank you, Speaker. I'd like to start by acknowledging that we're meeting here today on the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and to also acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that is now the Balmain electorate, where I live and work, the Wongal and Gadigal people, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I'd like to extend that respect to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here with us today. While I stand here today in the oldest parliament in Australia, I think it's important to recognise that with the establishment of this place and the arrival of the British colony decades earlier, there did come severe and lasting implications for the Aboriginal inhabitants of Sydney and New South Wales. I look forward to progressing treaty and truth-telling in this state. We have so much to learn from Indigenous Australians about how to be good custodians of this land, how to live sustainably, and to make sure we have a livable planet to hand over to future generations. What an incredible honour it is for me to be standing here today, part of the 58th Parliament of New South Wales, representing the people of Balmain. I am deeply grateful for this responsibility. They say that we stand on the shoulders of giants, and when it comes to the former member for Balmain, in my case, I stand on the shoulders of a literal giant in Jamie Parker. Jamie Parker served our community as the member for Balmain for 12 years, the first Greens ever elected to the Legislative Assembly in New South Wales. Jamie's presence in this place was large in more ways than one. I haven't met another MP who worked with Jamie, no matter which side of politics, who hasn't had a kind word to say about his positive impact in this parliament. I'm told of his warmth, integrity, and his ability to work across the parliament to get positive outcomes for our community and for the people of New South Wales. As many have told me, I do indeed have big shoes to fill. I would like to thank Jamie Parker for being such a great supporter and for trusting me to continue his important work in New South Wales Parliament. When Jamie was first elected in 2011, he showed the community that a vote for the Greens was not a wasted vote, but in fact a vote for a committed local member who will not only work tirelessly to put the needs of the community and the environment first, but will hold the government of the day to account. Shortly after followed the election in 2015 of the member for Newtown, Jenny Leong, and the member for Ballina, Tamara Smith, who I am very lucky to be able to now stand alongside in this place. There are also our fantastic Greens colleagues in the other place, Kate Fairman, Abigail Boyd, Sue Higginson, and the newly elected Dr. Amanda Conn. Hello. What an honour to work with such an incredible team of Greens women towards a better future. I'm so proud to stand here as an elected representative of the Greens, a movement that is so much bigger than me. And I hope that my success at this recent election is celebrated as a win not only for every member, volunteer, supporter, and elected representative of the Greens, but for everyone who has taken a stand to protect our natural environment, everyone who has worked on social justice causes, everyone who has sought peace, and all those who have worked to improve participatory democracy. Those four principles underpin everything that the Greens do, and everyone who has been a part of this movement, past and present, have played a part in my standing here today. It's also the first time in Australia that a lower house Greens MP has retired and a new Greens MP has been elected. A momentous occasion for the Greens and something that I am immensely proud of. The electorate of Balmain has changed so much after the last few generations, from an industrial heartland to busy inner city villages connected, full of important heritage, beautiful green spaces, and much loved high streets. Although it's retained some of its industrial history, for many of us who live in Balmain today, it's nearly impossible to imagine the old coal mine in Birchgrove, just up the road from Birchgrove Public School where apartments now stand. It's hard to imagine the bone boilers in Annandale, where we now have the beautiful Whites Creek Park, complete with wetlands and a native nursery, community gardens and a food forest. It's hard to imagine the many factories and refineries that dominated the waterfront land around the electorate. Despite the creeping gentrification, Balmain remains an eclectic and diverse community, a place of immense wealth and immense need, known for its working class and political history and a strong sense of community. One thing that has not changed about Balmain is the long and proud history of activism, and perhaps that's why I feel so at home. My mum, Jo, who's in the gallery this evening, made sure that my brother and I never accepted that something had to be a certain way because someone more powerful than us said so. She taught us to question decisions and stand up to those in power if we didn't think something was right. I've carried that lesson to challenge and stand up to power my whole life. I can think of many examples of the people of Balmain doing that very thing. In the late 1980s, when the Caltex refinery at Ballast Point was due to close and the land rezoned for expensive residential apartments, the community recognised the desperate need for open green space and spent the next 15 years campaigning for the land to become a public park. We now have the beautiful, award-winning Ballast Point Park. When the state government proposed to build 2 expressways straight through the middle of Ultimo and Glebe in the early 60s, destroying homes and heritage in its path, resident action groups, the Glebe Society, backed by the wonderful Jack Mundy and the Builders Labourers Federation, organised and stopped the destructive road project. When Callan Park was at risk of sell-off, the community, led by the Friends of Callan Park, rallied to save the parklands over the next 20 years. With the help of Jamie Parker, we've seen $20 million of investment in the park, and it's one of the most well-loved areas of open space in our part of the inner city. But perhaps my favourite story of activism is that of Clontarf Cottage. Shortly before I was born, the 1840 stone cottage in Balmain was slated for demolition. It had been neglected for decades, but the community recognised its important heritage significance and the need for more community shared spaces and decided that it was worth protecting. Women conducted sit-ins around the clock. Bulldozers were stared down. People were thrown into paddy wagons. And when a huge demountable side office was installed on the site to finally get the demolition and development underway, the whole office mysteriously disappeared one night, only to be found early the next morning, a Monday morning, outside on the footpath on Macquarie Street, just outside this Parliament, emblazoned with 10-foot high letters reading "Hands off Clontarf." Clontarf Cottage was saved. Some of those people who saved the cottage are here in the gallery this evening. These days, New South Wales protest laws would have seen a very different outcome. Those incredible brave people would have faced severe punishment, and I dare say we would not still have the beautiful Clontarf Cottage to enjoy today. I'm so inspired by these stories and incredibly grateful to the community for their bravery in staring down power with their vision for something better, and for us to be able to enjoy the wonderful open spaces and heritage buildings across the electorate that have been so hard fought for and won. I'm determined to see the right to peaceful protest restored in this state so that people are empowered to shape the decisions that affect their lives. Mr. Speaker, I grew up in Perth on Noongar Budja, Noongar country. We'd moved to Perth because my dad, Barry, who's here too, took up a job as a firefighter, a job that he did for more than the next 30 years. Listening to my dad's stories of rescues and fire calls, and during particularly bad fire seasons, watching him roll in exhausted, smelling of smoke after long days out fighting fires in the bush, I felt incredibly inspired by his public service. Dad's job, out in the community, caring for people and working together with his team, was such a great example of a meaningful profession. Since I was young, although I recognise that firefighting was perhaps not for me, I've always wanted to work for my community too. It also showed me how critical our frontline workers are. Growing up with a parent who works in the emergency services, it's impossible not to recognise what an important role our frontline workers play in our society. All public sector workers across this state, including our teachers, nurses, bus drivers and paramedics, should be paid properly for the work they do and should be able to afford to live in the communities that they serve. I'm a proud product of public education, and my childhood was a simple one, mostly spent with my head in a book or playing on the beach. Mum and Dad had a permaculture garden and a worm farm. We were taught to tread carefully on the earth. My teen years were full of lively political debates around the dinner table. Mum had grown up with the politics of Gough Whitlam and had been a Labor staffer in her 20s. Don't worry, she's a firm Green now. We set the world to rights night after night and had much to rage about after Howard was elected. The Howard government's handling of the Tampa crisis and the 2 decades of demonisation of refugees and asylum seekers that have followed is what led to my involvement with Mums for Refugees, an incredible organisation of women working to advocate for and offer support to asylum seekers and refugees. My friend, the national convener of Mums for Refugees, Dulce Munoz, is here tonight in the gallery. Dulce is a wonderful, tireless ally of people seeking asylum, and I'm so glad to know so many people across many organisations advocating for refugee and asylum seeker rights. Everyone deserves the chance to live a safe and meaningful life free from persecution. One of the things that I'm most proud of as a representative of the Greens is our commitment to social justice and an interest in the struggles of marginalised communities across the world. It's this commitment to social justice that compels us to address the glaring inequalities that also persist in our own society and informs our desire to make sure that all people have access to quality education, affordable housing and decent healthcare. Mr. Speaker, before I found myself here, my career was spent working in fraud prevention. I worked in credit card and internet banking fraud, where my team saw large sums of money laundered and shifted overseas. Many of the people were victims of complex scams where the perpetrators would deliberately target vulnerable people. What has shocked me in recent years is the parallels that I see between those who are victims of scams and fraud and those who are victims of gambling harm. Similarly, those who often fall prey to the harmful predatory gambling industry are those who are vulnerable, those who are lonely, and those who can least afford it. More money is lost per capita to gambling in New South Wales than anywhere else in the world. This can and must change. Political decisions must be made in the best interests of our communities, not made in the best interests of the gambling industry. I'm so proud that the Greens have taken such a strong stance on gambling, and I will continue to press for meaningful gambling reform during my time here. Mr. Speaker, like so many people in my community and across the state, I have been so frustrated by a lack of decisive climate action. This led me back to university to study community development and sustainability. I felt a pressing need to make sure that we were handing over a livable planet for the generations to come, and that resolve has only been strengthened since having our 3 kids. Over the last decade, I got more involved with the Greens, I organised local climate actions, worked with businesses on sustainability initiatives, championed the need for better cycleways across the inner west and campaigned to protect green space. I've met thousands of people on a similar quest, growing, reusing, sharing and connecting. It's our moral responsibility to protect and preserve the precious ecosystems that sustain life on Earth, to keep our air and our waterways free from pollution and protect our native forests. So many people I talk to share my determination that we can live differently, more sustainably, if only governments will get on board. I'm a passionate believer that we can build cities and regional communities that put people and the planet first, if only we have the political will. Instead, what we've seen is a love of polluting toll roads, rather than investment in public and active transport. Our community has been torn apart over many years by WestConnex, a project that will inevitably result in more cars on the road and cost the public a fortune in tolls, only to be funnelled into the pockets of private toll operators. This is not the way to create cities of the future. The people of New South Wales deserve world-class public transport and deserve to be able to get from one place to another safely on their bikes or on foot. This would bring the benefit of not only making our neighbourhoods more livable, but would make people healthier and is a critical step in working to reduce emissions and tackle the climate crisis. Similarly, when we look at housing, we see development that's driven by developer profit, instead of being driven by the need to provide people with a safe place to live. We continue to see public land being sold off forever, with very little being set aside for public or affordable housing. When we have over 50,000 applicants on the social housing waitlist in this state, more of our public land should be used for public and affordable housing, not just a small portion. We also see cheap, inefficient homes being built because the need for developer profits is put above all else, above the need for people to live in comfort, above the need for people to have bills that they can afford to pay, and above the need to reduce emissions. It's time that we see policy made in the best interests of the people who live here, not led by property developers, the gambling lobby, or the fossil fuel industry. Mr. Speaker, it would be reticent of me to finish this speech without talking about women and the need for more women to be involved in public life. I am so glad to see this 58th Parliament is more representative of our community, and I congratulate the government on a ministry that is 50% women. As many other women in New South Wales Parliament would know, it is not a straightforward journey being a mother of young children and being able to represent your community in this place. And I am grateful to every woman who has come before me, laying the foundations for more equal representation here. I was so pleased to see the member of North Shore with her little 2-year-old son on her lap on the first day of Parliament when we were sworn in. This world is a very different place to the world faced by my grandmothers. My Nana Gwen had to fight with the Department of Education to be able to do something as simple as send her daughters to school in winter in warm and practical pants. My other grandma, my dad's mum, Dossie, had to leave her job as a teacher because she dared to get married. A woman's place is in the house, in this house, and the one over there, representing our communities, making laws and creating change. There are so many people to thank, without whom I would not be standing here. To Jamie Parker, your family, Shelley and Beatrix, thank you for giving so much of your time. To Eleanor, who's watching online with her new baby Max, and to the amazing staff who have stuck with me since the election, Ned, Anastasia and David. To the Greens New South Wales, those campaign staff and the Balmain campaign team who worked so hard, Zoe, Lucy and Courtney, thank you. To my Greens colleagues in New South Wales Parliament, Tamara, Jenny, Kate, Abigail, Sue and Amanda, and to our colleagues in the Federal Parliament, Senator Maureen Faruqi and Senator David Shoebridge, who previously represented us here. To my fellow Greens councillors, Sylvie Ellsmore, who's the Deputy Lord Mayor of Sydney, and to Liz, Justine, Dylan and Margarita, all with me on the Inner West Council, thank you for your support. To my friends, my village, who have stuck alongside me, thank you. To Rochelle Porteous, who handed me the baton on the Inner West Council and started my political career. To the Port Jackson Greens and the Inner City Greens, those who volunteered and worked huge hours, Jen Barron, who's also watching online, Chris Holly, Michael Davis, Wally Sloss, Ismet Tashtan and the wonderful Federation of Democratic Kurdish Society who stood with us, Leo Edwardson, Ellie Baxter, Hall Greenland, Michael Hanna, Sandra Langtree, Derek Bolton, Ben Pragg, Adrian Schilling, Michael West. There are many, many more of you, another couple of hundred of you, wonderful, important volunteers, and I'm sorry that I can't name all of you, but I want you to know that I am so very grateful for every bit of work that you did on the campaign to hand out flyers, put up core flutes, letterbox, and talk to your neighbours about how politics can be done differently. To my mum, Jo, thank you for showing me what it means to be a strong, fearless woman in this world. My dad, Barry, thoughtful, funny and kind. I can't look at you because I'll get upset. Thank you for teaching me how to listen. Thank you for both dropping everything to be here and to keep our family functioning. I'm so glad that you've both been able to be here tonight. To my husband, Vidyut, who stepped up and taken on so much to give me the space to be here. Thank you for coming on this wild ride alongside me. Thank you for understanding what drives me and for always bringing so much humour and energy to our family. And to your family, our family in the UK, Ravi, Vijaya, Devika, Ashwini, Shaku, Jonathan and Steph, we have felt your love and support from afar. To our beautiful kids, Maya, Zavi and Amari, small but mighty, you are the reason I'm here. Thank you for sharing me with our community, for keeping my feet firmly on the ground, and for not being embarrassed about getting around everywhere on the back of my bicycle. I promise to do everything that I can in this place to give you and all the children who are here and who are yet to be born a safe future. And I promise to get home to read you a bedtime story as often as I can. I should also say while we're here, Amari, happy birthday for tomorrow. finally, to the people of Balmain, thank you for giving me this incredible opportunity to represent you in New South Wales Parliament. No matter who you voted for, I will do my best to listen and to represent your values, and I will work every day to make our state a fairer place to live and to create a more sustainable society that we can all be proud of. Thank you.